From the 1011 Now Alert Center, this is Morning Pulse, sponsored by Murray Roofing.
Good morning. This is Craig Allison with your Morning Pulse for Tuesday, December 23rd. It's Christmas Eve, but it's still not quite feeling like winter, and we're certainly not looking good for a white Christmas. Starting off cold this morning, but it's going to warm up as we get into the afternoon. That's the story for a lot of this week, and we'll have more with Carmelo Lutuga at the end of this show. But first, in case you missed it, our question of the day this morning on 1011 this morning was a recent survey asked, what's the most annoying Christmas song? What was the number one answer? That was All I Want for Christmas Is You. Mariah Carey, still number one, but apparently annoying in this survey. That's your question of the day. And if you want to participate, we always post it to our Facebook where we take in viewer comments and put them on our show. So there you have it if you want to participate. We're now going to send things over to our first story on the national side this morning. Severe weather from the Pacific Ocean is causing havoc in California. At least one person died after flash flooding overwhelmed Redding earlier this week. And now other parts of the Golden State, including Los Angeles County, are facing major threats. An atmospheric river is bringing more downpours throughout California this week. And evacuation warnings are in effect Tuesday for areas with burn scars from recent wildfires. Meanwhile, state and local officials are reminding residents to be extra cautious while behind the wheel. Parts of southern and much of central California is under a flood watch until Friday, and the National Weather Service expects up to 5 inches of rain across the northern Sierra by midweek. So there you have it. If you have any family out west, be sure to check in on them and see how they're doing. Your second story this morning has a lot of details that we couldn't cover in our morning show, but we're going to have them here in Morning Pulse. In our crime tracker, a Lincoln man is in jail with a $1.5 million bond. Police say this man beat a woman with a baseball bat and threatened to kill her with a gun. 57-year-old Lloyd Scott is facing assault, terroristic threats, and gun charges. Just before 3 o'clock yesterday morning, police were called to the area of West R and North Bell Streets after Scott's neighbor called about a woman bleeding from her head. The victim told police she had told Scott she couldn't give him a ride to the store. She was later woken up in the middle of the night to him beating her with a bat. The woman thought she'd been hit with the bat around 10 times before Scott dragged her to the basement, officers wrote. And once in the basement, police think he pointed a handgun at her and again threatened to kill the both of them. Scott fired allegedly a round into the basement wall, telling the woman he had to be sure the gun would work before he, quote, shoots us, the victim told police, and she described pleading for her life around an hour before Scott fell asleep. And like I just said, Scott eventually fell asleep and the woman was able to get help from their neighbor. Officers were called to the area of West R and North Bell Streets around 2:15 a.m. By that point Monday morning, a man called in after his neighbor beat on his door and rang his doorbell. He found a 58-year-old woman bleeding from several spots on her head. He recognized the voice of his neighbor when she started screaming, "Unlock the door, he's going to kill me," an arrest affidavit reveals. So a lot of details in this case, again, that we couldn't have on our morning show. Again, officers made contact with Scott, took him into custody. They searched his home and discovered a handgun and a bloodied bat from that affidavit. Again, in the basement, police found a spent shell casing and a bullet hole in the wall, and according to court records, Scott was also found to be convicted felon for an assault conviction in 2019. Scott's bond, again, set at $1.5 million, and he's due back in court late next month. So we'll be sure to follow all of these allegations and any other developments that may come up in this story. But again, a lot of details that you can find online at 1011now.com. Your third story, after being ruled incompetent for trial 5 consecutive times, the Lincoln man accused in a 2023 murder case now has his first trial date set. 47-year-old Alaric Hardin has a hearing on February 18th. Just over 2 years ago, officers arrested him after being called to a home in the North Bottoms neighborhood for a welfare check. They found the front door barricaded and smelled of natural gas coming from the home. Once they managed to get inside, they found 76-year-old Larry Cole dead with stab wounds and blunt force trauma to the head. Hardin was found inside the home and is charged in Cole's murder in that case. Now, in case you missed it, probably our biggest story this week. For the past year and a half, we have closely followed the search efforts for 30-year-old Jerica Hamry, seen here, the Lincoln mother who went missing in the summer of 2024. Yesterday morning, the Lincoln Police Department confirmed that the search is now over. Hamry's body was found on a farm in Furnace County last week. The 30-year-old mother was last seen at her Lincoln home on June 25, 2024, and reported missing just a week later. Authorities considered her disappearance suspicious from early on in the investigation, and now the case is being investigated as a homicide. LPD says a person of interest is currently in custody on unrelated charges, and there's no ongoing threat to the public, but we'll be sure to keep following this story as it develops. Now moving on over to sports. The Kansas City Chiefs are moving across state lines. The NFL team announced plans to move the franchise's headquarters from Missouri to Kansas. It's also a move into a new stadium. Chiefs' announcement comes nearly 2 years after Jackson County voters rejected a plan to extend a sales tax, and a portion of the tax proceeds would have been used to renovate the team's current home in Arrowhead Stadium. The planned new stadium in Kansas will be a dome and projected to be ready for the Chiefs' 2031 season. Now wrapping things up with your final story on this Morning Pulse. Friendship Home, a shelter for people looking to transition out of domestic violence situations, says it's been able to decorate its shelter spaces for the holidays after more than 100 different donors reached out to help. Last month, the nonprofit asked Lincoln for Christmas trees, ornaments, lights, and any other decorations they were willing to spare to liven up the 2 Lincoln shelter homes and provide decorations for survivors. The Friendship Home houses hundreds of people each year, including many families with children. They say these donations are a great way to get everyone involved in the holiday cheer.
We had people who were asking if they could help, if their kids could come and decorate, if they could wrap presents to put under the tree, things like that. So not only did it give Friendship Home something to bond over as an organization and as a volunteer program, but it gave our survivors a way to participate as well.
And this is the first time the shelter has done a holiday decoration drive like this, and they'll be holding on to those decorations for future years as well. That's going to be your Morning Pulse for this Tuesday morning here, and we'll wrap things up with a look at your 7-day before throwing things over to Carmelo Latuca with a full check of the forecast.
Well, good morning and happy Tuesday, everyone. Meteorologist Carmelo Latuca in the 1011 Severe Weather Center. Let's take a look at your Tuesday forecast along with what you can expect heading into Christmas Eve and into Christmas Day. High temperatures this afternoon in the upper 40s from O'Neill to Tacoma, 55 degrees here in Lincoln, perhaps the upper 50s to low 60s off and to the west. We play out Skycast for the rest of today. Mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies expected overall. No precipitation out there. We could see some drizzle as we head into Wednesday and Thursday. Not expecting much in terms of precipitation through the next 3 days, but the chances for some very light rainfall are there. We could also see some fog Wednesday and Thursday, but temperatures overall still expected to be in the mid-50s Tuesday and Wednesday afternoon. Christmas Day, 56 might be on the warm end. There is a chance that we will struggle to get to 50 degrees, but still well above average temperatures for this time.
You've been listening to 1011's Morning Pulse, sponsored by Murray Roofing. Watch, listen, stream on the 1011 Now app, on YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts.